In today's video, I am going to review the top 3 areas that we do permanent makeup. So we're going to talk about eyebrows, we're going to talk about eyeliner, and we're going to talk about lip liner. If you have questions about permanent makeup, please pop them in the comment section below. We'll be sure to answer your questions and make more videos where you can see actual demonstrations. Hi, I'm Becky. I've been a registered nurse for over 30 years now, and for the last 25 years I've been building my business here at External Affairs Medical Spas. Our specialty is aesthetic treatments as well as regenerative medicine, and our goal is to bring you all the latest information on these topics. Please like and subscribe and share our videos, and be sure to put comments down below if you have questions about any procedures. Probably the most popular permanent makeup service that we do here at External Affairs is eyebrows. We've been doing permanent makeup for over 20 years, and we added microblading in the last probably 4 or 5 years. So I'm going to talk about the difference between the two of those services and what we can achieve. So prior to doing permanent eyebrows, our technicians will actually take measurements, and they'll determine, where the eyebrow should actually start, where it should peak, how long it should be. They'll take a look and see if, the tail of the eyebrow needs to be elevated, which quite often that can be done with a toxin. So they'll really do a lot of measurements in here to make sure that the person's going to be a good candidate, and show them what that could possibly look like. So permanent eyebrows is done obviously with putting pigment deep into the tissue of the eyebrow. It's done with electronic pen. The pigment is actually driven quite deep. So permanent brows have like a softer, more muted look just because the pigment is going deeper and it's settling there. It does last longer, 3 to 5 years, compared to microblading, which we typically say around the 1-year mark. Microblading is done a little more superficially. So the pigment is actually implanted by hand, with a blade, into the more superficial areas of the eyebrow, and that's why it doesn't last as long. It's interesting that we call it permanent makeup because nothing is permanent. What's happening with the eyebrows is the skin is constantly, the cells are turning over. So permanent makeup definitely lasts longer, anywhere from 2 to 3 to 5 years, compared to the microblading up to a year, because those skin cells, as they turn over, as that dead skin cell comes off, so does the pigment. So both of them do need to be touched up, every few years for sure. The second most popular area that we treat is eyeliner with permanent makeup. And you really need to understand the goal of eyeliner, and that is to make your eyelashes look darker and fuller. So typically, a dark color along the lash line will definitely enhance, so that when you do wear mascara or if you do have lashes on, your eyes really pop. As far as how dramatic the eyeliner is, that's really up to the patient. Typically we do recommend a more natural look, and then you can always add something more dramatic if it's a special occasion. In my picture, you can see that the eyeliner is there. The color has actually really changed. This is eyeliner that's actually been in place for over 20 years. Now, when we did this work here in the clinic 20 years ago, back then we used to use black, and in time we discovered that black actually fades to blue. So we don't use a straight black anymore. The girls actually use a color, it's called black onyx, and believe it or not, it has a tiny bit of orange in it, and that counteracts the fading to blue. So when it does fade, it fades to more of a kind of a browny gray, a lot softer, a lot more natural looking. So with permanent eyeliner, it definitely is permanent. It really can last many years, 20 plus years. A person may want to get it touched up after 5 to 10 years, basically to change the color or enhance it or darken it. But permanent eyeliner is just a wonderful service to have done, either top or bottom. So now we're going to talk about permanent lip liner. This service has really evolved over the years. We've all seen people out there that have lip liner tattooed on, and the color has darkened and kind of turned maybe a purple or an odd color, and it just doesn't look natural. The patient has to really have lipstick on. So we don't do it that way anymore. Now it's done so that the color perfectly matches the inside of your lip, so that when it fades out, it is completely natural looking. And even if you had no lipstick on or no gloss, no one can tell that you have that permanent lip liner done. The way the girls do it now is they actually do the lip liner and then they feather it in towards the body of the lip, and that's what provides a super natural look. In our pictures, you can see that it's very, very dramatic when it's being done. And it does look like that for a couple of days, which is alarming for the patients, but it quickly fades. Usually within about 3 to 5 days, that superficial pigment that's sitting on top of the skin actually sloughs off, and the patient is left with a very, very soft, pinkier rose tone. This process, it does require 2 applications. Typically, we have you come back 6 to 8 weeks after the initial application and you do it again, so it can be a little bit more dramatic. So here's a great example of a 40-something woman who would really benefit from having the permanent lip liner done, because that will define these borders. As you can see, this gal has actually lost pigment around her lip. See how it's light in here? So we can definitely do that and then add a little bit of filler in there to restore kind of the plumpness of the lip. One of the things that I love about the permanent lip liner, as a nurse and as an injector, we see so many patients that come in and they want lip filler. They want to enhance their lip and they think that by having more filler put in, it's going to really pop like the red or the pink. It's going to bring that out. And it doesn't necessarily do that. And especially when there's cases that, the lip color has faded, or it's become uneven with age, or maybe because of scarring from cold sores or anything else, the person's actually missing pigment. So for those patients, permanent lip liner is absolutely beautiful.
Enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And don't forget to leave us comments or questions down below so we can get to know you better.